Oh, the moment has finally arrived, and I've finally got my hands on a Tesla Powerwall 3, and I do not want to let go. It feels so good. But today is the day we install our very first one. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Watch this video and see how we get on. Well, welcome back to another Alps Electrical installation video, and the team are super excited for this one, guys, because we are installing finally a Tesla Powerwall 3, and they've been like rocking our shit, pardon my language, to get hold of in the UK, but we've managed to get our hands on 3. We've got a few more installs to come, but this is our very first Powerwall 3. It's not too dissimilar in the terms of installation to the Powerwall 2 with the gateway and everything like that, but it is different because obviously the Powerwall 3 has a built-in inverter, so we don't have the separate inverter, and it is slightly different in the way that we have to internally wire that. So we're going to go through all that in this video, and we're also just going to suck it and say, really, I mean, we're not, obviously we do know what we're doing, we've done all the training, and but yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. It's a gorgeous crisp morning here, a beautiful winter morning. It's cold, but it's so sunny, it's lovely. And we're just in a place called Thornaby, which is near Stockton on Tees. We were actually here a couple of days ago, because we've been on and off this job due to the cold weather and the frost and the ability to actually get on the roof. Started the panels on the roof, as you can see, and all of the mounting and everything like that was done. Anyway, we've come back this morning, and as a team, we've managed to carefully finish the panels, as you can see behind me there. So we've got 9 panels on the front of the house, and then we've got a further 12 on the back. This roof, as you can see behind me here, this is actually the east facing roof, and then the other side at the back is obviously the west. The sun is bang in my eye line here, which is just coating these panels at the front. Look at them pigeons up there, look. They're just thinking, oh, get in. We've got these solar panels to get under, but little do they know, we're going to put bird mesh around them later today. So think twice, boys. You're not going in there, I'm afraid. You'll have to find somewhere else. So yeah, so we've got the 9 at the front, 12 at the back, and these are the Jinko Tiger Neo 440 watt panels. And again, like I've just said at the start of the video, we're installing that alongside the Tesla Powerwall 3. So obviously, as the panels are done, we've just finished them actually. The lads are just having a spot of lunch, and then we've got our solar ultra cable to clip up the side, and that's going to go in through the gable end, and then that's going to connect into a junction box, which is going to meet the strings from the panels. So they're going to get connected inside that junction box, and then we'll have our solar ultra running down into the garage, and that's where all the components are going, the gateway and the Powerwall 3. And we've got to obviously manipulate the main tails that come into the house. We've got to move them and reroute them through the Tesla gateway. So without further ado, guys, let's get on with it, and let's get in the garage. I'll show you where everything's going. Can't wait for this one. Okay, so we're inside the garage, and as you can see, our consumer unit is right here, so that's good. We're going to get the main line and neutral that enter here, and we're going to reroute them into a Henley block, where we will then extend them into the Tesla gateway, and then back out the gateway, back into the isolator inside here. So obviously in the event of a power cut, the gateway will kick in and supply this. So we've got to install our earth rod, which we might just install straight down through this garage floor, and then the Powerwall 3 is going to go right here. So it's going to look lovely and neat on here. Probably put the Powerwall 3 right here, gateway above, in line. So you can see them lovely Tesla logos in line. So if we look down here, here is the Powerwall 3, and doesn't it look nice? As you can see, the first thing that comes to mind is the dimensions are very much different than that of the Powerwall 2. This is much narrower. It is slightly deeper, ever so slightly, I'd say maybe by about another 50 mil. So we've got a nice location there on the wall. It's going to fit in there a treat. You've got an isolator switch on this side. I can take this cover off, take that off, and don't want to damage that. So obviously there's a lot going on inside here. Some of it I understand, some of it I don't. I know there is like sort of the heater and the fan in this sort of area, but I'm mainly focusing on up here where we've got our comms, I think the communications, terminals are in here. That's where we can connect the Wi-Fi, connect up to the internet. And that is one point actually about these Powerwalls. There is a known issue already, which is going to be, isn't there's going to be teething problems. So depending on what the firmware version is, it may not actually connect to the Wi-Fi. There might be an issue with it. So what they're recommending at Tesla is that you may want to run either if you can run a hardwired Ethernet from the router, which isn't always an easy option, because that's why we have Wi-Fi, so you can rely on the Wi-Fi. But if the Wi-Fi is unreliable, then you might want to run a hardwired Ethernet. Failing that, what they've advised is just run a temporary one, through the house, through the hall, and just plug it in. Update the Tesla Powerwall 3, update it to the current firmware, and then they're saying that the Wi-Fi will work. So, as I said, this is our first one, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see if it works or if it doesn't. But that's where all that bit happens. This is your main terminal for live, neutral and earth. There you go in there. Obviously, you've got lots of entries in the sides, which if you're installing this outside, you need to be careful of maintaining the IP rating, because obviously with the Powerwall 2, it's a completely sealed unit. You can't remove the front cover like you can with this one. All of the terminals and everything else that goes on is going on inside. So you've got to maintain that IP rating if it's going outside. Obviously, we're going in the garage today, so we don't need to worry too much about that. And on this side here this is the DC isolator switch, which isn't on all of the models. That would depend on whereabouts you are in the world, but in the UK, I believe this is why we have these in. But even though it's got this, we still like to put an external DC isolator for the solar strings as well. So you can have 3 strings on the Powerwall 3. Which is handy because obviously it goes up to 11.4 kilowatts, so you might have quite a big array, and you might want to, you might have 3 roofs, whereas we've just got the 2 strings on this job. So that's the Powerwall 3 in a nutshell. Obviously, it's an integrated inverter and battery storage all in one. So nice bit of kit, and we'll see how it installs. Okay, so first hurdle didn't take long, did it? We've just gone to mount the bracket. Obviously, we need to put our hardy backer on the wall as well. We're just marking out where we want to put the Powerwall, because we've got the consumer unit here that, I want to leave enough space to get some 50x50 trunking down here. So we know where the Powerwall needs to be. And rightly or wrongly, I assumed this was dot and dab over a breeze block wall. I mean, why wouldn't you think that? It's in between the house and the garage, but turns out it's a stud wall. So we have a stud here and a stud here, which are literally 600 apart, which is the width of the bracket. So yeah, what we're going to do is actually just going to cut out this plasterboard along here, and then again along here, and then we're going to, Brad's just nipped back to the container to get us some 3x2, some bit of wood, and we're going to put like a piece across there in between these 2 uprights, and then a piece there in between them 2 uprights. So we'll fix that, and then obviously we'll put our hardy backer on, and then we'll fix right through into our new cross members there, and that will be absolutely solid as a rock. And obviously the hardy backer will hide all of our little carpentry project. First hurdle of the day. But we love a challenge at Alps Electrical. We love a challenge. So yeah. Anyway, while I'm sat here waiting for Brad, why don't I tell you about our Christmas ad? Because it's November, nearly the end of November now, December next week. And I was like thinking the other day, John Lewis have done a Christmas ad. And I thought, well, why don't we do one? It's something I've always fancied doing, because obviously I like doing my filming and editing my movies. So I came up with the idea a couple of weeks ago, and we just went live with it yesterday actually. So if you look on our YouTube, actually I'll put a link here now if you want to jump across and watch that while Brad goes for the wood. It's only 2 minutes long, and it's just a video that we filmed, and I actually wrote the song, and me and my brother sang on that and produced it at his studio, because he has a music studio. So it's just a little project, a little bit of fun, but you know, the song's all about mental health actually, and you know, thinking of those around Christmas time who might not be having such a good time, because Christmas is notoriously a bad time for some people, because it brings home a lot of reality. So yeah, that was what the song's all about, and we're actually releasing the Christmas song. That's the song that's on the ad. We're releasing it on the 13th of December. So if you're watching this and you fancy purchasing the song, we're going to see if we can challenge the Christmas #1. You heard it here first, guys. But yeah, I do like a challenge. You know, I get something in my head. I just do it. That's what I've always been all my life. So yeah, I thought about doing this 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, yesterday, we've got an ad live, and we've got a Christmas single coming out. Who would have thought, eh? Well, we're nearing the end of the day, and oh my God, I can tell you it is really cold. Since that sun's just about going down, the temperature just feels like it's just dropped about 5 degrees. So having to jog on the spot a little bit to keep warm, maybe do a few star jumps. I could start like a fitness channel, couldn't I? So yeah, it's been good. We've had a good day. The lads are just in the garage there, just doing little bits with the isolators, fitting the isolators and a bit more trunking. We've done most of the internal wiring in the gateway. Basically, you know, redirecting the main tails that go into the consumer unit. They've been redirected now through the gateway. That's always a real chewy bit, that, because them cables are not very malleable. That's a good word, isn't it? Malleable. So yeah, they're always a bit of a pain to manipulate, but we put the Henley block in, and that looks nice just above the consumer unit. We always like to try and make things, you know, look as tidy as possible, which I know a lot of other electricians like to do that as well. Take pride in your work, guys. I want to be able to always look back on it and think, I'm happy with every single element of that. So yeah, it's going well. We're going to be back tomorrow, obviously, and that's when we've got to do the earth rod, and then obviously just finish off wiring everything, commissioning, and hopefully it all works. So yeah, just half an hour to go, get tidied up, and that'll be us for the day. So thanks for watching so far. Please remember, if you are enjoying my videos, because I do get a lot of messages from people from all over the place saying how much they're enjoying them, and that makes it all worthwhile. And if you are, then please don't forget to like and subscribe or comment on the videos. I do reply to comments as and when I can. Keep watching. We're going to be back here tomorrow and hopefully getting our first Powerwall 3 working. It's exciting. I need to keep warm. Okay, so it's the next morning, and thankfully it's warmed up a little bit, quite considerably actually, a fair few degrees, really noticeable. It's good because it's given us a chance to get on the roof now. Leo's just set off there to make a start on the bird mesh. As you know, he's the bird mesh king. He knows what he's doing up there. but it was far too slippy up there yesterday. It was all frosty and it just wasn't clearing because it was that cold. So yeah, it's nice and clear now. We can get on with that. Brad's in the garage just making a start. There's a generation meter to fix, and then it's just a little bit of wiring down at the Powerwall, and we should be able to start commissioning in a couple of hours. We've just got the earth rod to add as well, so we'll get that added. And then, yeah, hopefully everything's going to connect all right, and we'll be good to go. So hopefully this customer will be generating some free energy in a couple of hours. It's an exciting day. Hopefully we can finish our very first Powerwall 3. So stay tuned, and we'll see how we get on. So that's it. I mean, we're very, very close now, guys. We've wired everything up. The only thing we've got to do is the earth rod, which is always fun, as electricians will know. It's a bit of one of them moments. So we're going to probably put it straight down. We've done that before, straight down through the garage concrete and into the earth down there. Hopefully we'll get a good reading on that. So that's all we've got to do wiring wise. I'll just quickly explain what we've done for those who haven't done a Powerwall 3 yet, any electricians watching. Obviously we've got the gateway as normal like we do with the Powerwall 2. So that's everything in there is the same. What we've got is, again, we've got the 12 volt and ground, which we just use a 1mm twin and earth, just cut the earth off. And then we've got the Cat 5, but we're only using 2 cores, and that's for CAN positive and CAN negative, which they come down into here, into the circuit board here, which is obviously, like on the Powerwall 2, it's just a little bit different. So yeah, so we've got them in there. They're obviously connected. It's actually reversed, just to make it more awkward. So your connection's up there, it's the opposite in here. So that's that. You must make sure that your wiring that comes into here, it doesn't come in front of this casing, because you'll struggle to get your front of your unit on. And then we've got these ferrule clamps here that come with the kit. So you've got to put all these on yourself. And you've got to make sure that they're tucked out the way so that the front cover will sit on. So yeah, we've just put all those on, and they're all in the right order, and you've just got to follow the instructions as to exactly where they go. See, you've got like a couple of little red circle labels on them two. They're the ones that have to go at the top. One on your earth, and then 2 more down here. So yeah, you've got to put them on as well. We've obviously got our DC solar coming in here. I like this. I like the fact that you've got to crimp these lugs on. These all come with the kit in the Powerwall. You know, it just saves messing about with MC4 connectors. It's ideal. So they're coming in straight from our DC isolator. We do have a DC isolator switch on the side of this Powerwall, but I just like to have one. It's just something I like to put in. So we've got 2 isolators effectively for the solar panels, and then this is our AC isolator as well. So obviously we're coming from the gateway. We've got a 63 amp breaker here supplying the AC isolator from there into the Powerwall, supplying that. Yeah, obviously the main fuse here, that's coming in. We're directing our main live and neutral that come out from the grid, are coming in through this fuse, supplying the L1 there. So they're supplying the gateway, and then we've got a feed coming back to the board. So effectively it's bypassing through here, and then in the event of a power cut, the gateway will switch over to off-grid mode, and the battery will supply the house. So yeah, it's all good. So yeah, we've got our generation meter as well, of course. So yeah, power goes from here to the AC isolator, through the generation meter, and then into the Powerwall 3. So we're virtually, I think we'll clear up a little bit, drill down, get this earth rod in, and then power up and commission. All good. Impressed so far with the Powerwall 3, but connecting it to the internet, That's always the fun bit, so I'll wait to judge. But yeah, it's all good so far. So what we're going to do is drill straight down into the garage floor here, just to the right side of the Powerwall. Do you think we might need to cover this Powerwall a little bit with something? Yeah, I'll put a bit of cardboard or something over that. But yeah, we're going to drill straight down with this bad boy that I just bought from Screwfix. And this good old trusty Titan Screwfix Special plug-in SDS. So don't be making fun of me that it's not Milwaukee or DeWalt, because to be honest, we very, very rarely use this plug-in version. This is literally only for earth rods because the batteries run out. But it does the job. It was only about 70 quid for a full kit. You get the drill, you get loads of bits, loads of SDS bits. And I had one of these for a good few years. And then it packed in, but it packed in probably because of me, to be honest, throwing it around and abusing it. And Screwfix just changed it for a brand spanking new one after about 3 years of having it, which was amazing. So yeah, don't be making fun of my Titan drill. Right, should we get this done then? So as we thought at the start of the video, I mentioned about the Wi-Fi connectivity being a slight issue with the Powerwall 3, and that is the case. So what we've done is we've just put in this temporary Cat5 cable that we've run through the customer's hallway to his router. So we'll use that hardwired connection to download the latest firmware and set the Powerwall 3 up, and then it can be relied on the Wi-Fi. Apparently, that's what being told by Tesla. So the Wi-Fi connection will be absolutely fine once the system is commissioned and on its most latest firmware. So as soon as Brad's finished connecting that up inside, we will continue with the commissioning. Is that on?
Yep.
Good timing. So our Ethernet connection is working great. As soon as we plug that in, Powerwall 3 recognised the connection, and we are downloading the most latest firmware, which is at 25%. 6 minutes remaining. While that's doing that, I'll just tell you quickly about the... so when we had the Powerwall 2 and the gateway, it was slightly different. We would connect the gateway to the Wi-Fi, and it would be the gateway that we would commission, whereas the Powerwall 3 is the master, basically. So it's the Powerwall 3 that connects to the internet, and it's the Powerwall 3 that becomes the master, and it does all the monitoring and everything like that. Usually we would have to put like a CT clamp over the solar live, but we don't, because the Powerwall 3 is obviously the inverter and battery, and so it has its own self-monitoring, as does the gateway that monitors the grid CT. So it's got the CT built in, and so is the Powerwall 3. So they're monitoring the solar and the grid without the need for the additional CT clamps. If you had like a separate solar system, so like if the customer had already had an existing solar with an inverter here, for example, and we were putting in this as like an AC coupled system, then we would have another CT coming out of CT1 covering the live for that, so it could monitor what was happening there. So hopefully it's even more straightforward than usual with the Powerwall 3. So all good so far. So it looks like we're all commissioned, guys. That went really well. So as you can see there on my phone, I'm just recording the screen there. Solar's producing 0.8, house is using 0.3, and so the battery's filling ever so slightly. So that looks to be all set okay. We're going to move over to Wi-Fi though soon, so I'm going to unplug this Ethernet cable. Meter in, let's have a look at that. So gateway primary there, meter X, that's basically monitoring the grid, so there's just like 78 watts, 100 watts exporting. Powerwall 3 there, you can see that. Gateway secondary, meter Y, not configured, that's correct. System is running, turn off system to edit. See, yeah, we don't need to do that. So I think that's it really. We just need to register, we'll do all the registration and do the job checkout form and everything like that. But I'm going to try now and unplug this, switch it over to Wi-Fi, or at least let's try that now. Select Wi-Fi network, that's the customer's Wi-Fi. Pop this in. Connected. Come on, baby. Right, I'm going to unplug the Ethernet. So we're going to run a system test. Now you can do this in the app here, which is quite cool. So you go to system test, backup test, simulate a grid outage. So we'll click on that, and then we want to begin backup test. See how that goes. You hear the click, it's gone off grid. Yeah, well, the light is still on in the garage. There was no flicker, anything like that. It was immediate. So we're now off grid. So the whole home is being supplied by this fantastically clever bit of kit. So let's go back onto grid. So it's just checking the grid. It'll check the frequency. It'll check the voltage and everything like that. And we're back on grid. There you go. Backup test complete. Brilliant, honestly. So I'll have to say this has gone very well indeed. You know, we've installed quite a few Tesla systems, but obviously, like I say, this is our very first Powerwall 3. And yeah, it's gone good. I'm happy that the connectivity has worked, because that was something that I was losing a little bit of sleep over once we found out that Tesla had said that you know, there was an issue with the Wi-Fi side of things, but that only seems to be apparent, you know, when you first setting the install up. It looks like, you know, you're just going to have to, even if you have to run like a temporary Cat5 like we have, because running a Cat5, some people have their router in the middle of the house upstairs. It can be anywhere, so actually hardwiring it permanently is not always possible. If it is possible, like for example, if it was just behind here, then great, you might as well have it hardwired, but going forward, the updates, over-the-air updates, will work absolutely fine off Wi-Fi. So now we just need to finish off taking some pictures, doing our job checkout forms, and then should be good to go. Get the customer set up on his app, make sure he understands everything, and we'll have a good tidy up and we're all done. Okay, so we're all done here, guys. It's been an absolutely fantastic job, this one. The Powerwall 3, I have to say, was a bit of a treat to install. It was definitely easier than the Powerwall 2 with a separate inverter. It, you know, took a little bit less time. It was a nice bit of kit to install, as we would expect with Tesla. It's been great. The only issue we had, typically, which is 9 times out of 10 is the case, you do all that hard work, done all that technical stuff, all the complicated bits, right at the very end, it's all commissioned, it's all up and running, just getting it on the customer's phone. The customer's app won't connect to the gateway, so we've been on the phone to Tesla. We were on hold for about 30 minutes, and then when the guy came on the phone, he says, "You've only got a couple of minutes with me." I was like, well, we've been on hold for ages. But yeah, not very helpful, I have to say, Tesla. Not very helpful at all. So we finished the job about an hour ago. We're still here now, trying to get just the customer to be able to see it on his app. It's all working, just getting him registered, basically. That's the complicated part, seems. So yeah, that's a bit frustrating, but we look at the bigger picture, and on a positive note, it's been a cracking job considering the weather's been freezing. The lads have done really well, and it looks stunning there in the garage. So, you know, it's all positive, and we've got one next week as well, so it's good to get a bit of the training in for the Powerwall 3, you know, especially the sort of connectivity side, the way that we've set up the temporary Cat 5, that was obviously worth doing. So yeah, nearly there. We'll get finished. We're going to get tidied away, and then it's all good. It's Friday, so it's the weekend. A couple of drinks, I think, tonight. If you do enjoy the content, please do like and subscribe. And I really appreciate all the comments. Keep them coming. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you on the next one.